The role of psychology in spirituality. Nothing is more concrete than spirituality. I'm a psychologist myself, and I also find myself in a terrible interior conflict between both of them, especially when I have to choose one or the other. I fully understood when I began to realize how much people had to suffer in a relationship in order to finally be disappointed. I mean, isn't it a horrifying thought to see the people need to suffer so deeply before they can even ask the question? There's gotta be a better way than to depend on other people's consent or approval. So most people will do what is normal, which is go and see a psychologist like me or a psychiatrist in the hopes of temporarily fixing their existential suffering. I'll say it again. Looking for a temporary fix for our existential suffering, but not to heal completely. I will give you a hint to know if you're awakening. It's when you'll begin to ask yourself, am I crazy, or is everybody else? Then you're close to the truth, because we're all crazy. Crazy people who belong in loony bins. The only reason why we're not all in loony bins is because we're too many people. Yes, we're all crazy. We all have crazy notions about love, relationships, happiness, and joy. And I've come to believe that if everyone agrees on one thing, that one thing is sure to be false. Because every new idea has always come from a minority. I think it's Bertrand Russell who once said that every new idea comes from blasphemy. Now, you'll hear a lot of blasphemy coming from my mouth. You'll hear that everyone is crazy. You'll hear that man as we know it, including women and children, are completely in the wrong. And the more conscious you become of that, the better you will feel mentally and spiritually. Forget the illusions that you've built about your friends. They're all crazy, just like you are. Especially when you're negotiating passionately with them about something. In truth, we're all devious. We're all great manipulators. We're all brilliant Oscar-winning actors. The thing is, we're even better when we don't realize it. We think of ourselves as being people who love others. We think of ourselves as being good people. But the truth is, we're always looking to get something out of the other person. That's what we were taught. And we stop searching, we stop trying to get things out of other people when we start waking up. So we find ourselves now at the first step, which consists of realizing that we don't genuinely want to wake up. So the solution itself, would it be in restraining ourselves to do anything? Especially not. Because as long as we practice restraint, we're actually hurting ourselves. As long as we restrain ourselves from something, we're forever bound to it. Because as long as we fight with something, we're giving it as much power as we're using to fight against it. The only way to get rid of that fight, that inner turmoil, is to see it clearly, to see its true value. It is not to use restraint. The fight will then detach itself from you without you having to do anything. If we don't understand that, if we remain hypnotized by this thing to the point of thinking and believing that there's no happiness without it, then we'll remain slaves to this fight. All I can do is to help you understand that. That's all. If you understand, in other words, if your consciousness is awakened to that fact, then you'll have no longer the desire for this thing or this fight.